What's good, guys? Jay Lee here, another Northwest podcast. This is a pretty good video right here by this guy named Texting Prince, who is kind of like a red pill slash PUA guy. He gives advice. He uses red pill advice to guys who are like gaming and still dating around, stuff like that. Which I used to make videos that were kind of similar to that a few years ago, where I would kind of talk about red pill and kind of incorporate PUA into it. I always say, and I've always said this, that if you're going to go out and game and date and things like that, you'd really benefit. It would be a really good idea if you had a strong red pill base to understand female nature. And a lot of what they talk about in the red pill overlaps with what they talk about in PUA and vice versa. So there you go. But this guy is pretty decent here. Texting Prince. I would have to recommend his channel. But we're going to watch today some pretty funny videos because women love just telling on themselves and making themselves look like fools online. I think this is some TikTok videos where older women are complaining about men who play games. So let's just enhance the screen here and then play this.
Do you know what I'm really tired of? Men with me. I separated from an 18-year marriage in my early 40s. I'm 50 now. And the few men that I've dated, they were so...
Do you notice how she qualifies herself by, making herself a victim? Oh, I separated from an 18-year marriage or whatever. I don't know if she said marriage or relationship, but I separated from it. So as if that matters. Like, why does that matter? Why does that matter if you're in 18, 20 years or 2 years? It doesn't matter. The reason why she's qualifying herself here is because she knows she's old, right? She knows she's old, so she has to qualify herself by saying, oh, I wasn't, I'm not, one of these girls who's just low quality. I was in a high quality 18-year relationship, so therefore I deserve something. Sweetie, you don't deserve anything. And it's just like, men, nobody cares if a man is in an 18-year relationship. Nobody cares if a man is disabled. Nobody cares if a man got sick and therefore he can't work. All they care about is what he brings to the table. So why should it be any different for you, lady? Just because you're 50 years old, we're supposed to feel sorry for you? First of all, 18 years, if you're 50 years old, 18 years, you got into a relationship when you were 32. So you took your sweet time to get into a long-term relationship. So you were probably riding the carousel before then. And I got to say, you look okay for 50. You're certainly not as bad as some women, when they look 50. So you've taken decent care of yourself. But the truth is that for the past, so you were married or you got into a long-term relationship at 32, 18 years, you've been with that one guy, which is whatever. But before that, what were you doing? You weren't with one guy, you were with multiple guys. So right there, you're not high quality. But it doesn't matter. Even if you think you're high quality or you look decent none of that matters. What matters is your age. You are 50 years old. That's what matters. That's what guys care about. We don't want a 50-year-old woman. And she's mad and she's upset because, I'm a woman, therefore, you don't care. She doesn't care if a guy's broke. She doesn't care. All she cares about is, does the guy have money? Oh, he doesn't? No, I don't want to date him. I don't want to have anything to do with him. So why should it be any different for you? Why should there be any special privileges for you? This is just the female narcissism at work, female solipsism.
So undecisive. And the games they play, seriously, man, you're in your late 40s, almost 50, don't around, seriously, don't play games.
Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we play games? Why would we be everything you want us to be so we can make it easy for you? You don't make it easy on us. You guys are playing games, so why wouldn't we play games?
It's getting so annoying. I'm so tired of this shit. I would have expected it to be easier as I got older. Man.
That's hilarious. That is $1 million hilarious statement right there. I would have expected it to be easier as I got older. What does that even mean? Like, you think it's really going to be easier as you get older? No, sweetheart, it's harder as you get older. It's easy when you're 21, when you're 20, because you look your best. And that's the time that you should get married, and you should stay married to one man. But no, you're too busy out there riding the cock carousel, and the chickens have come home to roost. You're 50 years old. You look okay for 50, but look at those tattoos. Look at your neck. Look, your skin is starting to sag. You are old. You're past menopause. You can't have kids anymore. And even if you did pop out a baby miraculously, who would want a mother to be 50 years old? No man. Men cherish youth and fertility because it has to do with procreating. It has to do with bringing babies into this world. That's what men are attracted to. Women are attracted to men for their money, for resources, because it means security and protection. So sorry, you played the game and you lost. And now you're mad and you're complaining about it. You lost the game. The game has passed you up. And how many men have you denied? How many men have you rejected in your life? Thousands, if not tens of thousands. Because, you know, if we're counting guys who are inboxing her on, you know, Plenty of Fish, Tinder, Bumble, OkCupid, all that bullshit, I'm sure she's got accounts. I'm sure she's got at least 5 dating accounts, Match.com, eHarmony, you name it. She's probably on OnlyFans, probably on Pornhub, probably on sugar daddy websites too. Don't trust these women as far as you can throw them, man. She's sitting here mad because her prince in you know, her prince in shining armor, her knight in shining armor is not straightforward with her. You don't deserve it. You're 50 years old.
Around with women, okay? Be honest, because you know what? TikTok, you're getting older too, you know?
This is pretty funny. Let's listen to what he has to say. It's pretty right on. Sorry about that.
You hear this lady here, and we hear this all the time, especially ladies that are, 30, 40 or older, getting back out in the dating market. And just listen again.
I separated from an 18-year marriage in my early 40s. I'm 50 now.
A great wall. Okay, that's what I want.
Okay, so she was in an 18-year marriage. I didn't hear that part. So she separated in her early 40s. Okay, that's actually pretty good. I actually rescind. I take back the things that I said, because if she was in an 18-year marriage when she's in her early 40s, that means she was in her early 20s when she got married. That's actually not too bad. That's actually not too bad. I will say. That's actually not too bad. So what I said about her riding the cock carousel in her 20s was incorrect. So I rescind my comments on that, because early 20s, if you get married, I'm not too mad at that, although I'm sure she had several partners before she met her husband. But by the time you're 22, I mean, who knows? She could have been a straight hoe from the time she was 16 to 22. That's very possible. But usually, it seems, it's not too bad until they hit 20, because usually they're occupied with school and just being so young that they're not really that exposed to too much sex. Although it really depends. One of the first girlfriends I had in my 20s, when I was in my early 20s, she was 18, and she had already slept with 18 guys. I asked her lay count before she met me, and she had slept with 18 guys by the time she was 18 years old. Really, that was her lay count, 18. And she said that and I knew it was true because she showed me a journal. She actually kept a journal of all the guys that she slept with notes on how the sex was, who these guys were, where they were from, details about them. For some reason, that's just how she was. She kept a journal of the guys that she slept with. 18. So she took notes, and a lot of these were just, I think most of them were like just hookups, not like guys she was dating. So it really depends. You know, by the time you're 22, you could easily sleep with 50 guys. So I don't know. But I will say 22 years old is not too bad. Actually, she said she was early 40s. So let's say 42, 18. So she was maybe 24, something like that, 25 when she got married. Yeah, it's pushing it, because a lot of times these girls out here, they do, you know, get married when they're 25, 26. But that still gives you a good 8-9 years of playing around, because most people lose their virginity around 16, 17, right? Most people lose their virginity around 16, 17. I lost mine at 18, or the summer I turned 18, so that's about average, I would say. Well, actually, you know, when I was 18, when I was 17, 18, it was like 1999. No, it was like 2001 when I turned 18. So, I don't know what it's like today. I mean, porn culture, the internet was not popular back then. Internet porn was not popular when I was in high school. So nowadays with internet porn, who knows, man? I don't know the average, you know, age they lose virginity could be 15. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy to think about. So by the time she's 50, she had a good 10 years. She could have easily racked up 100 partners by the time she got married at 25, right? Anyway, she's old, she's mad, she's bitter, and besides, what have you been doing since your divorce, right? Okay, so she was in a marriage for 18 years, 25 to early 40s, and now she says she just turned 50, right? So what has she been doing for the last 8 years? Riding the cock carousel. But now she's mad because she's like, well, this is boring, it's not fulfilling, I want someone to hug and love. And yet guys are playing games because you hit 50. Ding, ding, ding. That's a magic number. You hit 50. I mean, really, when girls hit 40, it's over. Really. 35, 40. But some women, and she looks okay, some women take care of themselves and they still look good at 40. Lots of them don't. Lots of them don't, man. They have a couple kids. A kid can ruin her figure. It will ruin her figure. Not only that, it makes her pussy loose, you know, and her hormones change. Having kids will mess a girl up, for real, unless she really takes good care of herself. She really knows how to exercise and have her diet. But a lot of these girls today, they don't have discipline. They really don't. But let's listen to what Texting Prince has to say, because he makes some really good points.
Here, she separated from an 18-year marriage, and now she's bummed about the dating market. Now she's bummed about realizing that it's not what it was probably built up in her head to actually be out there. When we talk about hypergamy, all right, again, the simple version of hypergamy inside of a woman wants a highest status man that she can attain to protect and provide for herself and her children, past or future. The children she either has or potential children she could have, even if she doesn't plan on having children. That's just in her biology what she's looking out for. Now, the big thing here, guys, the big thing is that a woman wants a highest status man that she can attain. And that's important. Attain. Let's dive into this and really understand this, because this should help make so many other scenarios make sense in your mind. This 50-year-old woman is complaining that men are playing games.
I'm so tired of this shit. I would have expected it to be easier as I got older. Men, stop around with women, okay? Be honest.
We have another video at the end. You're going to hear something similar, and she's sick of it. Well, here is why games are necessary for men today. Because, remember, a woman's hypergamy, if her hypergamy inside of her feels like she can attain you as a man, that means if your coming off is more direct about your feelings than she is, if you're coming on more strong than she is, if she feels that you need her more than she needs you, then her hypergamy is done. She's bored. So when a younger woman is out in the dating stage, the minute she feels that she can attain you, she's bored, she's ready to move on.
Yeah, this is why you can never, this right here is a prime example of why I say love isn't real, right? because this really is female nature. This is really how they act. You can't act normal around women. You can't be yourself. You can't just be direct and I really like you, I have these feelings for you. She will get bored because this is female nature. It's a sad thing, man. It's a weird thing. It is a really, really weird thing. And you would think, you know, you could call me blue-pilled for thinking this, which may be true, I don't know, but I grew up not even understanding this concept. I grew up thinking that people were just straightforward, people just were honest, people were like, you know, love was love. If you love somebody, you just loved them and you moved in with them. I had no idea about this kind of stuff until I became 20 years old and started trying to get into the dating market. And I realized, like, why do these girls chase these bad boys? Why do they chase guys who have status? Why do they, I really, so many times I've had experiences where like a girl would, I'm a tall guy, I'm in pretty good shape, I work out, I was in better shape when I was younger because I played basketball all the time and I hit the gym, and girls would flirt with me, girls would be attracted to me and things like that, although, not very much because, I'm not 10 out of 10 Chad and my status wasn't very high, but I was on the basketball team in varsity, and if you heard my backstory, I talk about it sometimes. You'll know that like I learned about the Matrix because of being in scenarios where girls would hit on me, and I realized like it was because of my status. It was because I was on the basketball team, because I was a tall guy, right, good shape. And then I learned as I got older, like once I stopped being on the basketball team, once I, realized that like, I went to a bigger city and things like that, realized that like, I'm going up against guys that are like have Chad faces. I don't have a Chad face. Like I'm probably not that great looking. In fact, I'd probably ultimately say I'm maybe a 5 out of 10 if I'm lucky, right? Maybe a 6 out of 10 on a good day at a good angle, maybe, right? So it's like, no wonder girls are like basically just, don't even know I existed. But before, when I was on the basketball team, I had status. I was popular. People knew my name, right? Girls would hit on me and I'd be like, I don't understand, and I didn't know these things. I didn't know how to be a bad boy. I didn't know how to play hard to get. I didn't know how to act, disinterested. My mom used to always tell me, my mom of all people used to always tell me, if you want a girl to like you, just play hard to get. And I figured it out in my 20s, and I started utilizing it, and I put it to the test, and it worked. It really worked. Being a bad boy, being a player, it really worked. Using push-pull techniques, using some PUA techniques of, basically push-pull, essentially. It worked, and it's like girls, it's hypergamy, and I didn't realize it, and so I was always like, well, why are the girls chasing the bad boys? Why am I not good enough? Why am I, so I realized in my 20s, I was like, the reason why, first of all, that, that these girls were even interested in me in the first place was because I had status and I'm tall, right? And I'm athletic, but I could never close. I could never close these girls. I could never, like I used to get all kinds of numbers in high school. I talked to girls, get numbers. But whenever I try to whenever I got on the phone with them, they were not interested in me, and it was because I was too interested in them. I was showing my cards. I didn't know how to be a player. I didn't know how to be push-pull. I didn't know how to be a bad boy. And there's a whole lot that goes into that. I'm not going to talk about that. You can find that online, but how to be a bad boy, how to be a player, how to talk to girls in that frame. But I never could, and it was like, I get it now. It's because of hypergamy. It's because of that. And so this really shatters, and it's true. It's absolutely true, and it's true. Just like he's saying here, it's true up until the moment they want to settle down. Then they want the straightforward guy. Then they want the guy who's like, okay, he's putting all his cards on the table. This is how much money he makes. He's a nice guy. He's a good guy. And this is straight up narcissism because they expect that to happen. And this is gynocentrism, right? Oh, I'm a female, therefore everything has to fall into place for me. And if it doesn't, then it's misogyny. If it doesn't, then it's the patriarchy's fault. If it doesn't, then something's wrong with the universe. And it's like, it's such arrogance, so much arrogance. And it's just like, why? Like, what is wrong with you? Like you have that attitude, and yet you expect and you you believe that you deserve a high quality man. Honestly, it's the opposite. The opposite is true. Because you have that attitude, you don't deserve a high quality man. Because you have that attitude, you don't deserve anybody, really, besides somebody else who's as narcissistic as you. Because that's a horrible attitude. You should be thankful to have somebody who loves you. You should be, you really should be chaste, and you really should be, you shouldn't be such a immoral person, right? And I don't know, man. Let's just go on, because he talks more about that.
So that she can find the highest status man. And once she goes, okay, I can attain this guy, I'm ready to move on to the next guy. So therefore, men in the dating stage have to learn how to play games, or else they won't get a shot with a woman that they're interested in. Take this video, for example.
I'm so disappointed, dude. Like, I saw this guy, hot as fuck. Too hot to be a nice boy, right? Like, he looked like a straight toxic ass player, and I was like, yup, that's fine. And I go up to him, and he's all nice and shit, and I was like,
look at that.
This younger woman here wanted a toxic guy that plays games. When he didn't play games, she was bored. He made it too easy for her. So now, when this woman, fast forward when she hits 30, 40, 50 years old, when she has a harder time getting attention from the men that she desires, when that doesn't come as frequently like to these older ladies, then she's sick of those guys playing games.
Yep.
But up until that point, when she's getting abundance of attention, if you don't play games, she moves on. She's bored of you.
Yep.
See how this works, guys? That's why it's so hard.
100% true. That's why it's so hard to get laid. That's why it's so hard to get a woman. Because if you're not playing games, if you don't act like you are high value, if you're not a player, if you're too nice guy, she will lose attraction. It'll turn her off. And it's a sick, sad thing, man. It's a part of nature, dude. And it's like, what the fuck is that? Like, you're you're just not normal. That's not normal. That's not real. That's not genuine. Oh, I gotta and it's like, there's always guys out here, usually blue pill guys, but they don't know it. There's always guys out here that defend that, like, well, she's got to make sure that she's got a high value man, because if the guy's not high value and she has a kid with him, then it's not going to be good for her. And it's like, dude, are you fucking living in reality? These girls get knocked up all the time by the players that she chases and has sex with, and guess what? The guy doesn't stick around. It's like 30% of single women out there are single moms. You can Google that. 30% of women out there who are single moms. So obviously it's not working. Obviously these guys who are supposedly so Chad, that the high value that she's chasing, she's getting knocked up by these guys, and they're not sticking around. That's a stupid argument, right? Oh, well, she's got to make sure her offspring are high quality, and she's got to make sure the guy can provide for her offspring, because it's like, shut the fuck up. She can get welfare. The state will literally buy her a house and a place to live in, pay for her, like, HUD, homes under development or whatever, Section 8, DSHS. She can get housing if she's got a kid. Women use it as a come up. Like, come on, man. You're not making sense. You're not living in reality. The real truth of the matter is, in my opinion, the real red pill answer is, women need to be raised better. Women need accountability. We need to put back social stigma on loose sleeping around. And we need to encourage young love, right? And it's one of those things where it's like, maybe your environment can overcome your nature, because women these days are encouraged to go sleep around, as if it's like empowering. When in reality, it's the opposite of empowering. It's what's that word I'm looking for? It's objectifying. That's what it is. It's not empowering, it's objectifying. When she sleeps around, she turns herself into a sexual object. And women, in their emotions and their feelings, they're not really this way. it's hard for them to have sex without having their feelings attached. So what that means is every time she has a sex partner, she creates an emotional bond with that guy. And they call them, there's a word for it as well. My brain's not really working right tonight. It's called a soul tie. It's called a soul tie. And they talk a lot about it in Christianity. A soul tie, it's like this kind of soul bond that you create with somebody you're having sex with, because that's what's supposed to happen when you have sex. Like chemically, that's what happens when you have sex with somebody. Your brain literally releases, I think it's oxytocin or something like that. I'm sure it's serotonin for sure, but your brain releases these they call them love chemicals. You can Google that. They call them love chemicals, which help to create a pair bond. So what happens when these women have sex with these guys indiscriminately is they ruin and wreck their emotions a lot of times, and they become jaded, and it ruins their character. It messes up their wholesomeness. It messes up their humanity. They become these wretched type of, witchy women who are man haters, and they have no problem hurting men because, some guy, some high quality 10 out of 10 Chad that she wanted to have kids with, just treated her like he was like she was a Tuesday for him, and she got all mad, and so therefore she hates all men because of it now. Well, really, you're already predisposed to hate all men because of modern feminism. So when some guy who's super high quality, who every other girl wants, bangs you and ghosts you and never calls you again, then all of a sudden she feels justified in her excuse to hate all men, and then she hurts other men, and it makes her feel good when she's breaking guys' hearts and then leading guys on and playing all these games. And it's just like they become jaded. They're no longer sweet, normal, natural, genuine girls. They just become jaded. If you want to see what a sweet, normal, natural, genuine kind of girl is, go look at some trad wives, some traditional women, some traditional conservative Christian women. They're out there. They have channels out there on YouTube where they're like cooking shows or whatever. These women are like totally different. Their vibe is totally different. They're not disrespectful. They don't curse, right? I'm not saying that they're not still hypergamous. I'm not saying they still don't want a guy with money, because that's in female nature, period, the end. They do, but because they haven't slept around, because they haven't ridden the cock carousel, there's something pure about them. They're sweet and kind of nice, but it's like, where do you find a girl like that? And again, you got to have money, right? You need money in order to afford a woman. Women are expensive, which is what I always say. Women are expensive. Anyway, guys, this is basic Red Pill 101, game, pua, whatever you want to call it. It's still Red Pill on female nature. And I just want to make this video to kind of, reiterate that and just kind of speak on it for a minute. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Appreciate you guys listening to Jay Lee Northwest Podcast. Peace.